I don't know who needs to hear this, but loving that man when he has nothing to offer you is not a flex. Loving that man when he's at his lowest, that's not a flex. Unless you're one of the rare few who are talking in hindsight about how you was there when the man didn't have anything, but he cherishes you, he honors you. He ain't did nothing but lift you up. He protected you from the lowest version of himself. That's when it's a flex. But other than that, I'm not saying there aren't exceptions, but rule of thumb is if that man is broken, he ain't gonna do nothing but break you. I'm not even trying to be a pessimist. When a man is unhappy with himself, he will project that onto any woman who tries to love him. And he will destroy her peace because he can't find his own. You can hate me for saying the truth all you want to, but somebody who has lived this, somebody who knows that I'm speaking facts, please put facts down in the comment section. Because you know, they're going to get mad at me. I'm looking, every time I look in my DM, that's all I see. Well, I know I'm supposed to hold him down and ride or die. No. That, honestly, ride or die and hold him down and through thick and thin is for when you're with a man, he's already proven himself. He already proved his love. He already been down with you. He already gave the best of himself to you. But life has happened. Things have happened. Y'all 2-3 years in, maybe even 6 months to a year in, and he's been so consistent and so valuable in your life. He's been such a good man that now he's going through his go-through. You're not going to abandon him. That's good. I have no problem with that. But when you're talking about a man introducing you into struggle, introducing you into his lowest, and he's still trying to love you, he's still trying to be in a relationship with you, this man is not prepared for you. And all he's going to do is take it out on you that he's not where he wants to be. I'm not saying this so we can bash men. I'm saying this so we can save you before you learn this the hard way. We romanticize being with a man when he ain't got nothing to give and nothing to offer, and ain't nothing sexy, ain't nothing romantic about that. Ain't nothing romantic about what comes from that. Again, if I'm speaking facts, somebody put facts down in the chat so I know I'm not alone on this. I love the idea of hey, we don't leave when things get hard. But there's such a thin line between leaving when things get hard, or rather not leaving when things get hard, and how a lot of today's good women are not leaving even when it's gotten disrespectful. Even when it's gotten disrespectful. And that's because they feel guilty. You feel this responsibility like you supposed to prove your loyalty by losing yourself to a man who can't find himself. You supposed to prove yourself. For a man who wasn't prepared for you, you're supposed to prove that you down for him, even though he didn't prepare for you. And I'm telling you now, long before you get to that point where that man is handling his business and, glows up and catapults up in life because of your love, and then you just reap all the fruits of that situation, long before you get there, you're going to be the emotional punching bag, if only even emotional. Don't shoot the messenger. Don't shoot the messenger. Now, am I saying that you don't be with a man because he has flaws? No, I'm saying reserve yourself for a man who has reserved the best of him for you. Reserve yourself for a man that says, okay, now that I'm at a point where I can be of value, that I am safe to love, now I want to go and get the woman that I call my dream girl. Now I want to go and introduce a woman into my life who is ready to be loved. Now I want to do that. And you know what? A lot of times whenever y'all get in relationships with these men and they clearly have not prepared themselves, you only stay from a place of abandonment yourself. You stay from a place of, you can empathize with not being your best and you deserve love and you needed love, but nobody was there for you. But let me say this. You can't try to relive old trauma and give it a new ending through this current day relationship. You are different. You may have been a child at that time that you were abandoned. You weren't at your best, etc. Or you may be one of those people that if somebody saw the best in you when you were at your lowest, you actually would hold them down. You actually would do right by them. You would come up and get everything that you were trying to get and deserve to get, and you would share it with that person. You would be loyal to that person. But sweetheart, everybody ain't got the same heart as you. You end up in a relationship with most men who are at the lowest of the low right now, and they ain't doing good right now, and they got all of these reasons why and all that, but they still want love, you're going to end up loving him harder. And you're going to be thinking, well, the problem is I ain't loved him hard enough. You're going to end up giving him more and more support, believing maybe that's the solution. You'll be trying to prove your worth to somebody who is convinced he has no worth. Here's the brutal truth. A man who hates himself, he will find reasons to hate your love too. He'll sabotage every good thing you try to build because deep down, he doesn't believe he deserves it. That's not, relationship issues you're trying to work through. That's you dealing with unresolved self-hatred that he's too cowardly to face. But he's not going to say that. Most men are not going to say that. Let me say this. Most men are not going to say that. Yes, there are exceptions to the rule. We hear those and they're so beautiful, but the reason why they go so viral and they're such great romantic story plots is because of how rare they are. Most times, instead of a man looking in the mirror at his own failures, he's going to use you as his emotional punching bag. His misery cannot become your mission. And this self-loathing isn't your responsibility to heal. When you are with a man who is unhappy with himself, he will project that onto you. And really any woman who tries to love him. And he will steal her peace because he can't find his own. Ladies, if you ever been with a man that hit some financial hard times and he didn't know how to deal with it, he unraveled at the seams, you know what I'm talking about. He became a completely different person. He was insecure. He was resentful towards you because your life wasn't going as bad as his and you still were getting opportunities. What did it say? August says, you're absolutely right. I stayed even after he said he didn't love me. I tried to prove I was lovable. I'm telling y'all what I know. I see it all the time. But if somebody here thinking that their love and their loyalty is going to fix this in a man and prove something to a man and ignite something in him and turn a light bulb on with him. And it's like, no, sis, you don't have to prove or earn your love worthiness to anybody, from anybody. You're already worthy without going through the fire, being hazed. And by the time he gets you to the altar, you got to limp down the aisle. I want y'all, and this is going to be offensive to some, I get it. This is why we did the whole masterclass, going from people pleaser to prize, because when you're not the woman that a man must come prepared for, you easily become the woman that prepares him for another woman. And if you've ever been that woman, you prepared a man for the next woman. You invested in him, you did for him, you held him through, you were the bridge from one ugly season of his life into wherever he got to where he was more stable and he went to somebody else. You have a lot of people pleaser habits that you absolutely must unlearn if you're going to get to the point where a man truly sees you and treats you like the prize. I know that's harsh. Oh, a man gonna do that just because I'm a good person. That's not how it go. That's just not how life works. Otherwise, every good woman would already be taken by such a great man. That's just not how it goes. I talked about this in my masterclass. It's my newest masterclass. I just did it a couple of days ago. From people pleaser to prize. I teach the strategic detachment method. So you can become both irresistible to the man that you deserve and who deserves you, while becoming the one that your ex regrets fumbling because he didn't prepare for you. If you want that masterclass, I just put the link down in the comments, but comment the word detached. I'll send it to you for free. If you want that masterclass on how to execute the strategic detachment method, I taught it inside of my masterclass, From People Pleaser to Prize. I talked about this exact thing where so many women are wasting the best years of their life, wasting their love on a man who has not prepared to receive and reciprocate it. If you want that masterclass so you can go from people pleaser to prize, comment the word detached. I'll send it to you absolutely free so you can watch it. But back to what I was saying. Your love as a woman, it'll become evidence that something must be wrong with you. Because why else would you love a man that considers himself to be worthless? That's what it'll kind of in a weird, twisted way. When you try to love a man at his lowest, a man who doesn't love himself, a man who has all of these self-esteem issues, insecurities, all of these abandonments, all of these this, that, and the other that he has not dealt with, and he basically hates himself. His own self-hatred will make him suspicious of anybody who tries to see value in him. Because even if he can't see the value in himself, he might be able to see that value in you, and it's not going to make sense why you would be trying to love on him unless something was also wrong with you. He'll question your judgment rather than questioning his own self-perception. So every compliment you give him is going to get met with skepticism. It's never going to be something where you speak life into him and now he just becomes this great, awesome man. Every loving gesture is going to get analyzed for hidden motives. This is why no matter what you do, no matter how respectful you are to the relationship, he's always going to be insecure about something, picking something apart, finding some issue, needing you to prove even more how loyal you already are. It's going to be like an endless pit of you trying to prove something and love this man out of these bad habits because you see something in him. He's not going to be able to accept that you genuinely care because he genuinely believes he's unlovable. And that's not your cue to try to show him how lovable he is. No. He's not going to be able to even accept your love. Therefore, he's going to start investigating what's wrong with you for giving it. And if he can't find anything, he will create problems. We call that sabotage. I talked about that in the masterclass, from people pleaser to prize. A man will literally sabotage because he can't fathom somebody loving him with the way that he sees himself. And guess what? Sometimes it's legitimate. Sometimes he's done so much wrong and he's stuck in so many different toxic habits. So he can't identify with a man who truly deserves you. And it feels good seeing you try and having some of your efforts at his disposal, whether it be, the amount of sex that you make available to him, the amount of submission that you're willing to be for him, whatever. All your kindness, words of affirmation, your ego strokes. I don't want to lose anybody. Y'all understand what I'm saying? Put facts if you're picking up what I'm putting down. It's more so understanding that whenever you deal with a man, you're not so much dealing with the character traits that you see. You are largely dealing with the relationship he has with himself. So whenever you qualify a man and say, okay, he's a good man, you got to include in that how he sees himself. Does he have a good relationship with himself? Truly. Not does he beat his chest and talk the talk, but is he actually loving and kind enough to himself where he vibrates with that and he stays away from things that cheapen his body, cheapen his time, aren't really, he has standards for himself and for others. Does he honor his own word? Does he have a healthy relationship with himself? Does he find it difficult to believe a woman could truly love him and be just for him and, but she can still have a life outside of him? If not, then he may believe deep down he's somebody to be abandoned. And he'll do everything he can to make that true. It's crazy. But the mind is actually more addicted to what's familiar than it is addicted to what is safe. It's addicted way more to what's familiar because familiar is the perception of safety. Sometimes something can be safe, but it's not perceived to be safe. So the mind will lean more into what's familiar. That's a little bit too deep here. I get it. I'm going to lose some people. But for those of y'all who are still with me, what that means is the single most defining characteristic of the human personality is to remain consistent with who we believe we are. Tony Robbins said that. I didn't come up with that. What that means is whatever that man holds as truth, he's going to work to align his external situation with whatever that core belief is in his own mind. If it's that all women are bad or women are good, but because he's bad, no good woman could possibly love him and she's eventually going to leave, he's going to sabotage until you confirm that belief. You trying to prove something is safe and something is good and something is worth having you. He's trying to confirm whatever belief he already got of you. Just because he's with you doesn't mean he shares the same belief about relationships and about you. That the relationship doesn't serve the exact same function just because y'all are both wanting a relationship. This is why you got to go deeper when you have these conversations with a man like, hey, what is it that you're after? A relationship. What are you looking for in a relationship? And he's not going to say, well, I want a relationship to serve this function. This is why you got to pay attention to other things. Like I said, the relationship he has with himself. Because you may be looking for a relationship so you can grow and build and be powerful with a man and have somebody to give all of this overflowing love to and have a family. He may be trying to get in relationships to continue proving over and over again that core belief that he's not lovable. He'll literally punish you for seeing his potential in him because he's too scared to pursue it. Your belief in a man who does not love himself, is not at peace with himself. He always talking about how he fighting demons and this, that, and the other. Look, everybody got some kind of battle. I'm not saying he's bad because he has fights with demons or whatever. Hopefully he is fighting them instead of just playing with them. But that's a different story. But your belief in him will threaten his comfortable victim narrative. That means if that man is going through X, Y, Z and he's so used to being able to say that, rely on that for sympathy or excuses for his behavior or where he's at in life, you may not be looking at somebody who is really just a victim of circumstance. You may be looking at somebody who has gotten addicted to being a victim. And then when somebody's gotten addicted to being the victim, they're going to continue to be the victim, even if there's no external validation to them being a victim. You must hurt him. If he can't twist what you're doing that's not hurtful at all into being something that's hurtful to him, deep down, you trying to do this. You really just trying to do that. You trying to change me. That's what that looks like. You trying to speak life into that man, show him where he's, able to go higher in life than where he's going and work harder or believe bigger and try more and maybe stop certain, habits, whatever that's holding him back. Oh, you sitting there trying to change me. You always got something negative to say. Because he's got to stick to this victim narrative that you are attacking him. Ain't nothing you can do to change this narrative he's gotten addicted to. He'd rather sabotage your hope in him than risk failing to live up to it. You encourage his dreams. He's going to resent you for pressuring him. You believe in his capabilities. He's going to accuse you of having unrealistic expectations. You see his potential and he's going to punish you for seeing what he's convinced himself doesn't exist. Your faith in him is going to feel like pressure because he's given up on himself. If you wanted a few people who picking up what I'm putting down, put facts down in the comments. Because I know this is going to be one of those unpopular opinions. We're in a day and age where people romanticize a woman's self-sacrifice in the effort to prove herself and her loyalty and be a good woman. I'm sorry, but I just don't believe in it. I've never seen anything good happen from it. I wouldn't want that for my daughters. I'm not going to be another advocate of a woman who is empathic and everything else being taken advantage of to prove that she's loyal. I'm not going to be a part of it. So I'm going to say the truth. The truth is a man's self-sabotage. It isn't, how should I say? It isn't necessarily self-destruction. Not by itself. It's relationship destruction disguised as personal struggle. When a man self-sabotages, we usually say, well, it's self-destruction. He's doing this to himself. And no, but if you're in a relationship with him, he's actually going to destroy the relationship and he's going to make it seem like, well, I'm just working through some things. We all got flaws. We all got stuff we working on. I'm just battling. This is why it don't make sense when you see some of these toxic love stories, trauma bonds, and the man is I'm talking about clearly a problem, but he got a woman that's just trying so hard to defend him, believe in him, etc. Because a man will use his internal issues as weapons against y'all's connection. I hope I have permission to tell y'all the brutal, honest truth. But that whole working on myself is actually a man working against y'all's bond 90% of the time. Every time things get good between y'all, he find a way to pick a fight or create drama or become distant. And he'll claim it's because he's dealing with his own issues, but really he's using his issues to avoid dealing with intimacy, to avoid receiving and reciprocating your love. His problems become his excuse to treat you poorly while he plays victim. Anybody willing to tell the truth and let me know that I'm speaking facts? Put facts down in the comments. Or if you feel like I'm telling a lie, tell me I'm lying. Tell me I'm lying. Tell me where I'm lying. Tell me how I'm lying. Because I want to know. A man will literally, if he's not happy with himself, he will make you feel guilty for being happy when he's determined to stay miserable. Your joy will threaten his identity as somebody who has valid reasons to be unhappy. He needs you to be as miserable as he is to justify his emotional state. When I tell y'all, I've seen both men and women do this. But it's funny because it's only really glorified for women to stick around with men who do this. Men are not glorifying other men who stick around with women. You always hear brothers talk about men. Oh, he need to leave her. Oh, he need to get him another one. Oh, he need to da-da-da-da-da-da. But we glorify women who stick around with men who are simply not happy with themselves. And y'all don't understand this sometimes, not because you're dumb, you're weak, or you're naive, because you're not. Rarely do I see a woman who actually is any of those characteristics, but she may shame herself into thinking that she is. But what's really happening is she's an empath and it's getting taken advantage of. And when that happens, again, you're likely operating from a place of being a people pleaser. I know we think of people pleasers as somebody who's just a yes girl. You may be like, oh, I'm not a people pleaser. I do things that disappoint people all the time. Yeah, but do you find yourself consistently on the bottom of everybody else's priority list while making sure they never have to question if you'll come through for them? In your relationship, have you just let me know. Let me know or say it to yourself. What is the truth? Do you constantly find yourself looking out for everybody else, being a strong friend, being the one people can count on? But when it's time for you to look for some type of help, everybody got something more important to do. Your man got something more important to do. He been sleeping. You don't understand. You sitting there asking him to do these things, relying on him to create and hold this space for you, but he ain't got time. He ain't got energy. You should know that he got to work in the morning, but you always make sure he good. You always make sure you listening to him. He got all of these long, sad stories, but the moment you got some emotions, here you go again. You bringing me negativity. You bringing me stress. You bringing my mood down. Do you find yourself in that situation? You remembering important dates. You making sure this man never has to question if he got somebody on his side. But you feel so isolated and alone in that relationship emotionally, even if that man is physically in your presence. If that's you, you have likely been operating from a place of being a people pleaser. And that's why you have not yet received a man who sees you and treats you as the prize. And if you want to go from people pleaser to prize, you have to learn the strategic detachment method. It is not just cold, I don't give a F, I'm done with relationships, I'm going to be single forever. No, the strategic detachment method. I taught it in my masterclass, From People Pleaser to Prize. If you want it, comment the word detached, I'll send it to you. That's my masterclass where I tell you how, if you've ever been a people pleaser or receiving the results in dating of a people pleaser, where everybody want to put you last on their priority list, but you keeping them first, comment the word detached. I'm going to change your life for free. Try me for free now. For free. But just think about it. If you ever in a relationship with a man and every time you're in a good mood, he finds a way to bring you down, you achieve something, he gonna find a way to minimize it, or you excited about life, he reminds you of everything that's wrong. He can't stand your happiness because it highlights his choice to remain unhappy. You got to get away from them types of people. I don't care if it's a dude you with. I don't care if it's your homegirl. You got to get away from these professional victims. Let's just call it that. Profession, because that's what they're literally choosing to do. They perfected it. They gotten good at it. They perfected their craft. You got to get away from them. I done been around people. I'm talking about, I want to make sure I'm careful with my words, but I done been around people. I'm talking about they determined to be unhappy. Now that they found their identity in being a victim or being unhappy, they're afraid of what life is really like on the other side, even though the other side is potentially peace. And I'm saying, if you as a woman have ever been with a man like that, your attempts to fix him is only going to confirm his belief that he is broken, and broken men break everything they touch. They break everything they touch. That kind of man is not looking for a partner. He's looking for a therapist who will sleep with him and pay half the bills. Now they really about to get pissed off at me. Somebody said I'm lagging. I hope I'm not lagging. I want to come through clearly. So if I was lagging on that last one, let me say this again. That man is not looking for a partner. He is looking for a therapist to sleep with and pay half the bills. That man, he wants the emotional labor without the emotional reciprocity, meaning he wants you to carry the emotional labor in a relationship without emotionally reciprocating. You're not just his girlfriend. You're his unpaid mental health professional with benefits to him. You spend hours listening to his problems and validating his feelings and making excuses for his behavior and managing his emotional needs. But when you need support, that man is unavailable. He is unavailable. He got other things to do, or he's dismissive, or he makes it about him. He's outsourced his emotional regulation to you while offering nothing in return. That man is destroying your peace because he can't find his own. And a man who won't love himself will never stop punishing you for loving him anyway. That's why self-love has to be a prerequisite for your healthy relationship. It can't be an outcome of it. It can't be, well, once I love him, then he'll be able to love himself at the level. If you're trying to get a man to love himself, that's a problem. You can't be teaching this man self-love. You practice it. You listen to books. You read this. You take time for yourself. You're good to yourself, whether affirmations or you go to church or you got good friends or you participate in hobbies that fulfill you, and you set boundaries. You do all of the things. You cannot teach that to somebody else. And if you're trying to enforce that, I'm telling you, you are in a danger zone. A man will literally resent you for giving him something he believes he does not deserve. Your love is going to feel like pressure. Your support is going to feel like judgment. Your patience, that's going to feel like pity. And your loyalty is going to feel like stupidity to him. Not because it is, but because he hates himself. He can't understand why you don't hate him too. So he'll keep testing your limits until you prove him right by leaving. Lisa said, drop in and out on a bill or two. That's not consistency. I'm telling y'all what I know. And it's a process to it. It starts with blame shifting, making you responsible for his emotional state, his reactions. Then it goes to the victim mentality, using his struggles as permission to mistreat you without consequences. Then the third step is whenever you try to love him out of that pattern, and now you're overcompensating and he's getting comfortable in that. There's a process to how he'll project onto you. And now you know you're in this situation. Let me say that if you're listening to this now, you're like, well, D, I don't know. Maybe I'm not. Are you experiencing any of these? Are you experiencing emotional exhaustion? Just trying to exist in that relationship? You constantly managing his feelings while neglecting your own? Does it feel like you have this level of self-worth erosion where you can look at the old you before the relationship and you were taking much better care of yourself? Where his inability to value you causes you to question it yourself, where you have a lot of questions about yourself that didn't come from you but came from him in the form of him just being real? That the transformation, when you stop trying to heal him, when you finally decide to reclaim your energy for your own growth instead of pouring it into his black hole, you're going to realize that loving somebody should not feel like carrying somebody. And that weight is going to be lifted off of your shoulders. And again, This is what we talked about in my masterclass, going from people pleaser to prize. I don't know which side of the fence you want to be on. You got to be very mindful that you're not starting to get addicted to that victim mentality yourself. If you know and you came into that relationship knowing you are the prize, but that's not the results. That's not the relationship you're receiving. That's not the kind of treatment you're receiving. You have to be careful that you haven't now picked up people pleaser beliefs, and you have to be willing to unlearn them. I can help you, but only if you're willing to help yourself. If you want my help, I'm giving it for free. Comment the word detach. Comment the word detach. Comment the word detach. I will send you my masterclass for free, from people pleaser to prize, where I teach the strategic detachment method. That's one, going to help you become irresistible to the man who deserves you. Then two, make sure you're the man. To make sure you're the woman that your ex regrets fumbling, because you're going to become incompatible with the man who can't love you right once you practice what I taught in this masterclass. And you will go from people pleaser to prize. I break it all down, but back to what I was saying, and I'll just wrap it up here. Again, for those of y'all who are just coming in, I stand on this. People won't get mad, but I stand on this. A man who is unhappy with himself will project that onto any woman who tries to love him, and he will totally rob her of her peace because he can't find his own. His self-hatred will become your emotional burden. His insecurities will become your relationship problems, and his refusal to heal will become your mission to fix. But you are not a rehabilitation center for broken men. You are a prize to be earned by whole men. Stop trying to love dudes into loving themselves and start loving yourself to only accept from those men who have already done the work. Those are just my thoughts. Y'all know I'm your internet big bro. I got your back. And if this was in any way truthful to you, or you know that I spoke some truth, find a little arrow down here and hit the share button so you can bless somebody else who needs to hear this. And again, if you want a much deeper dive, it's about an hour long. I went in on how to go from people pleaser to prize. I'm talking about tangible, actionable steps to stop the pattern of dealing with men who have not prepared for you. So if you want to go from being people pleaser to truly being the prize, if you want to become irresistible to the man who deserves you, and make sure you're the woman that your ex regrets fumbling, this is the way to do it. I put the link down here in the comments, but comment the word detach and I'll send it to you for free. And also make sure that you speak whenever you get over here in the chat room. Don't be rude. Comment the word detach. I'll send you my masterclass for free, and I'm going to be in the chat. I'll let y'all lady, y'all be good.